appointment. They have set a precedence so that if they want to get rid of anybody for any reason with this, the way they did it, without hearings, anything else, then they can from now on. They have set a precedent. If a majority decides on a certain vote that they want to suspend some people for a day so they get the vote the way they want it, they can. That's what they've done. In my opinion.
Do you plan to come back, sir?
Oh God, I gotta get over today, right?
Do you plan to legally challenge their authority to suspend?
I don't think I will. I don't know what other people will. But they have taken away half of Franklin County's vote by doing what they did. The presumption of innocence doesn't matter here. It wasn't followed here. There was a presumption of guilt.
Do you have anything to say to the people of Franklin County right now?
Well, Franklin County, I mean, there's been 3 different petitions where they tried to get rid of me, and they couldn't get enough people to even make it worthwhile. So the people of Franklin County, I consider, are I've always been proud of them, and I'm proud to have been able to represent them for the last 13 years. So they, I guess I just want to say that I was proud to represent them, and I'm sorry. I never asked for any of these accusations to be put against me. They happened. They could happen to anybody. And if this is the way you can get treated by a body of law, I mean, where we make the laws and the rules, and they can ignore constitutional rights like they have, then I see it as a travesty that has happened to the state. It's not a travesty that I did. It's on them. They did it.
Were you
Norm,
considering
can you imagine-
resigning right before the vote, the suspension vote?
No, I'm fine. I can stand with these guys. I've been with them for how many months now? They're not a threat. They're not stopping me. I could walk through. Hell, I could ride home with him.
Norm, do you feel?
So thank you. All right.
Norm, this has been a really strange, some might say weird process here, but within the rules of that process as they've developed over the past few months, do you feel like they've been making any effort to treat you fairly?
No, I was told by some within 3 days after the whole thing started that I needed to resign, and if I didn't, then they would move to remove me.
Were you considering resignation before the resolution vote? I think.
No. I wanted to thank Luke Markland for helping me. He had my part of it. No, resign. As I told, I don't know who came, which one of you came. If I were going to resign, I'd have resigned in May. I've maintained that I have done nothing. And I can't talk about the case. You all know that.
Will you consider resigning now?
I can consider anything right now. You need to let the dust settle. Let me think for a minute.
Was your attorney here today?
No.
Was that your decision?
So you said let the dust settle. Does that mean that at a certain point you may consider resigning again?
I think everything's in play right now.
What factors will weigh into that decision?
I've got to talk to family. I've got to talk to the people who have encouraged me and asked me to not resign. And you guys got to, this would have been a lot easier to resign. Wouldn't have got to deal with, all you guys are friendly faces, but I wouldn't have got to deal with all this. And I wouldn't have been talked about on the floor or had to walk and, and go through everything that you've had to go through.
What does it feel like emotionally just to be in the building the last couple of days?
I don't know, it was a little uncomfortable. We've half the people who would come to me when nobody was around didn't want to talk then. They didn't really want to talk in front of people because they're afraid you guys get pictures of them. But other than that, it was, yeah. It was,
How would you describe your state of mind, your mental state right now?
I'm kind of drained right now. Kind of tired. We put forth arguments. We were told, I think some of you were at the rules meeting the day that I went. We were told that what Mr. Baruth went through in explaining the resolution was not going to happen. He chose to do it. Yeah.
What's it to say to you to have 10 people vote on your side of this issue,
Thank
given
them
the vote?
very much. They are people who respect the Constitution and due process.
You said you're not guilty of any criminal charges. Are you guilty of
Not
anything
guilty of any of the
anything
things.
inappropriate? Do you think?
No, I have maintained that from the beginning. I haven't changed.
Were you having sex with your intern?
You got to be kidding.
It's a real question.
No. No. And
With none of the women who accused you?
listen, we're not going to get into the case because we're not going to try the case. That's for my lawyers to point out. Okay?
Norm, are you going to make any attempt to come back to the building while you're under suspension?
I don't know why I would.
But going forward, Pat, can you imagine ever coming back here?
I don't know. People of Franklin County stood with me pretty strong. People in the 3 district or 4 towns that I represented when I was when I was a representative. I had many people come up and telling me, hold, we know you. And if they'd have wanted to done that, our newspaper, Messenger, made a strong plea or effort. In fact, they're still writing things that are not true, but to try to get me turn public opinion against me, and it didn't work for them. It didn't work for
So
them.
you could run for re-election in the fall?
I'm told I could.
Any interest?
Boy. We'll see, maybe. Nothing has changed. The state is out of control on its spending. The state we've got serious problems with education funding. None of that has changed. We've got serious problems with land rights being usurped. We've got serious rights with people's rights being usurped where things are being built in the name of green energy that are disrupting people, that are going to disrupt people's lives. Nothing's changed on that. Government has overreached for so long that it's become the normal. And this is what Franklin County, they feel that way. The majority is who hired me. And I believe very strongly that they're right. And that's why they wanted me speaking for them. And that's what I've done. I have voted against these budgets for the last umpteen years here because I said they were not sustainable. And guess what? They weren't. Every year we've had a budget shortfall. Every year. Every year our property taxes have gone higher and higher. I wasn't wrong. And I was with the people that were asking us not to let them do that.
Yeah. But now, after this this vote, which is pretty lopsided,
Yeah.
there's some concern among some of your colleagues about what you're going to do. Are you going to be okay? Not going to do anything rash?
Rash?
Yeah.
No. I'm going to clear my name. I'm going to clear my name. This thing has put a sully on me. Unbelievable. I have never done anything And you know, I've coached kids that were, you know, from the time I started coaching when I was 14. I had to go back to the grade school because there wasn't any parents would be concerned about coaching the baseball team. So at a 14-year-old, I had to ride with the parents back, you know, to go coach the other kids that were 2 years younger than me because they weren't going to be able to field the team. I didn't start yesterday doing this stuff. I started early. And I've given to my community. I've given, you know, forever I've given. And to have this happen to me with these people, okay, they had their reasons, and I have to respect their reasons. I don't have to agree with them. I have to respect their reasons.
Norm, you're generally known as one of the more conservative members, and a lot of conservatives tend to have a tendency to side with prosecutors over defendants and defense lawyers.
Kind of weird, huh?
And so, I guess my question for you, you know, would you say that was the case with you up until last spring, and has that changed at all? In your
Actually, I still believe in I still believe in the system. Do I believe it's gotten skewed? I do.
In which direction? Which way?
Well, you guys have reported a lot of things that, you know, that sex crimes, child abuse, and this sort of thing, where people got arrested, they got their names splashed all over the papers and the news media, and then a few weeks later they went, oh, no, we made a mistake, and they dropped the charges. It's happened. I've been a little more cognizant of it. And so I think we got a problem.
Did your attorney give you any advice as to whether to speak
Not
today?
to talk to you guys.
But what about the Senate in general? There's been some chat.
No, that's not their purview. They're, you know, they're criminal lawyers. They're not, I don't want to call it constitutional lawyers.
And any idea when you may go to trial?
Oh yeah, you're stomping all over them things. No, so this spring, maybe.
But not February.
Oh no, that's another problem we actually have is our court systems are so backed up that they just had to pick a date where they could actually say, okay, we you know, if everybody's ready and the stars align, this is a date that we could do. The state isn't even ready. So, and my lawyers have to wait until the state finish their work before, and I think that's partially because maybe they're underfunded, and our court systems are underfunded in Franklin County especially. We're getting pounded up there. We have child abuse cases that they keep getting pushed off and pushed off. It's because they're underfunded. You know, that's another constitutional question you guys ought to be asking some people up here, is we have three branches of government. The legislative didn't take any cuts. The administration didn't take any cuts, but every year we cut judicial, or we squeeze them a little harder. That's a constitutional requirement that we fund the judiciary system. I don't think we're doing a very good job of it.
Senator, in the future, if this kind of thing comes up at any other point in the legislature, should the Senate or the House allow a member to stay no matter what kind of charges they're facing?
Innocent until proven guilty is our constitutional right. It doesn't say what the charge is or what the circumstances is. It says it's our constitutional right. That cannot be taken away. It cannot be taken away. I think it just did, but it's an area that we probably should not be going into. So.
Do you think the vote today will impact your trial negatively at all?
No, because we didn't, other than Mr. Baruth going over charges, we didn't get into any of the things on purpose. Because I can't. Because it could negatively affect me or the state. It could do either one. That's why you can't talk about it. You know? think I've answered every question you guys wanted. Well,
Thanks,
maybe
Norm.
not all of them, but could I ask? Oh, never mind. I know you got to take the clip too, or whatever. You're not even smiling about that one. Come on. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Norm.
Mind if I get a quick reaction from you, sir? Is that on record? Not on my favorite. Fine. Yeah, good.